Hey friends, welcome back to another video. Hey, if we haven't met before, my name is Eric and I love story. Story is what I believe to be one of the most important things in the world. And today I'm talking about a story in my life that has to do with a video game that has some pretty significant meaning to me. Because if you don't know this about me, I'm a nerd. I can prove it with my 4-star Dragon Ball paperweight or my desk figurines for D&D, a random Spider-Man and Goku, or maybe even my little Pokeball accessory for Pokemon Let's Go, especially with the game Destiny. Destiny has been one of those games when this one first came out back in 2014 that really changed my life. And today I'm gonna kind of tell that story overplaced with some cutscenes. But before we dive into it, I want to give a trigger warning because I am going to talk a little bit about depression in this video, and I would always rather be safe than sorry with that kind of thing. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoy this video and this story about how Destiny the game changed my life. It was September 8th, 2014, when I stood outside of a GameStop in Cincinnati, Ohio, waiting for midnight so that I could get my hands on Destiny, the game. Destiny was a game that early on I didn't know much about. I had just gotten my Xbox One and I was just playing a few random games at the time. But when my friends on the dorm floor started talking about this new game, Destiny, and we're all excited about it, I couldn't wait to give it a try. I went down, I pre-ordered it, and I was ready to go. And on September 8th, 2014, when the clock struck midnight, turning September 9th, I got my hands on that game. I remember going back to my dorm room all excited to play it, only to be met with the fact that my dorm internet sucked, so it took forever for the game to download. But once the game had downloaded, I remember staying up all night till my next class at 9 a.m. And I remember staying up, playing this game, having a bunch of fun, going through the story, playing the Crucible, and doing so much more. And then I went to class, and I got on Reddit, and I spent the entire time learning about this game. It was on that day that this game started to really become a center point in my life. It was around that time that I started to go through a pretty deep depression, which is some stuff going on in my personal family life and some stuff that I had put off and some other personal trauma that I had never dealt with. I started to fall and collapse inward onto myself. I was already a pretty big dude, but I started to gain some more weight at an unhealthy pace. My diet went to crap and I couldn't get out of bed each day. It was such a chore to get out of bed. And I remember thinking most days that I had nothing to live for and nothing to get out of bed for. Not that I wanted to die, not that I wanted things to end, but I remember not having anything to get out of bed for. The idea of going to class wasn't interesting to me. There was no opportunity for the things I wanted to do or that I even knew I wanted to do at the time. I just kind of felt alone in my dorm room, and I knew I wasn't alone because I had friends who cared about me and people who saw what was going on and urged me to get help, but I was just so stuck. I was so stuck in the moment of just wondering, why is the darkness so deep in my own personal life? Why can't I get out of bed? And why is there nothing in my life that is worth doing? Then it was one random night when I hopped on a Destiny LFG site to run the Vault of Glass raid, the first raid in Destiny 1, because I didn't have anyone to run it with that night and I just wanted to really run it. And I found this group of people who I don't know who they are now, but they were just a really great group of guys who needed a sixth. And that night I had a ton of fun playing this game with them and running vaults of glass. And my gosh, like, it was the first time in a long while that I felt purpose. And I know it sounds weird to say, I know it sounds odd to say that a video game gave me a sense of purpose, but it did. When everything else felt disinteresting to me, when everything else felt like it didn't matter, when my depression was at an all-time high, playing this game started to give me joy. And I started to fall in love with the grind of trying to get new gear, and I started to fall in love with the opportunity to keep achieving more and more things within the game. And it eventually became the reason for me to get out of bed every day. And so I made this video to tell this story, because at the end of the day, I think maybe I'm not the only one who's had their life changed by this video game, or maybe another video game in general. And I think it's easy for people to look at gaming as this thing that can be addictive, or this thing that can be a time waster, or this thing that just doesn't bring any value. But for me, when I was at the darkest moment in my life, when I literally couldn't get out of bed any day, this was the thing that got me out of bed. This was the thing that allowed me to keep going. And when the expansion pass would come, I would be like, yes, more reason to keep going. And eventually I got help, and I'm better, and I'm in a much better space now than I was in 2014. But I wouldn't be here now, I don't think, if it weren't for this game. If it weren't for this game helping me along the way. And that's why I still play it, despite Destiny's many flaws, which there are tons of. Despite Destiny 2 being a frustrating experience at times, I still love this game. Beyond Light's coming out here soon, and I'm going to buy it. Because I love this game. I love what it means to me. I love the community of people that is in Destiny, because at the end of the day, there's some amazing people that are a part of this community. And I'm so incredibly thankful that I found this game randomly, and that it's impacted my life this much. So Bungie, thank you for creating this game, and thank you for saving my life. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It was really fun for me to make this video, because it was really neat to relive just the memory of how much this game has meant to me over the years, and how excited I am that I get to keep playing it, and that they get to keep building this world that I've invested very heavily into, both with my time and my finances, because every time an expansion pass comes out, you gotta buy the digital deluxe version, and that's like $70, and it's a crazy amount of money I've spent on that game. If I did the math right, it'll be about $450 I've spent on that game. That's a lot of cash, Bungie. But hey, thank you so much for checking out the video today. Hey, if you enjoyed it, if you wouldn't mind clicking that like and subscribe button, I would super appreciate that. Then other than that, guys, I will see you on Friday for our next story video.